Hey guys, what's going on? It's DanJack here, and today we will be going over a bunch of different unique uses for all of these brand new Terracotta blocks introduced in the new snapshot. And I've heard a lot of people complain about these things and say that, oh, they're useless, they're not Minecraft, whatever. Well, I'm going to show you some ways that these can be utilized in some pretty common things in this game. So, let's go ahead and get started. The first one here is for the white terracotta block, and this one is kind of difficult to use. As you can see up here, I made a 3x3 of it. It's a little different in color. So, basically the only thing that I found that would work that you've probably seen other people do, but maybe not, I don't know, is use it as a bed. Now obviously this isn't a functional bed, but if you're going strictly for the cosmetic look of it, the white terracotta block works really well. The second one over here is the orange block, and this one is kind of an interesting use for it because if you'll notice I cut off all of the actual orange part of it, so I just used the blue. Just using these stairs like this and just making a 2x2 and then covering up the corners. And I use that for a lot of the different ones, but for this one especially, that orange is just really out there, and it doesn't really match anything else in the game. So, if you use it like this, it works really well to add a little bit of decoration to some fancy walls. So the next one is the magenta block, and this one is pretty self-explanatory. There's not really a whole lot you can do with it. Pretty much just use it for the direction that the arrow faces. So, that's all I could really come up with for this one. The light blue terracotta looks kinda like ice shards, and I tried it with some ice stuff, but unfortunately it's just a little bit different color and it doesn't work too well with it. But if you do the same thing that I did with the orange one over there, and you cover up the corners, it works really well for a fan, like this, in a sort of factory setting. It looks really cool as like a duct, especially if you cover it up with the iron bars. So yeah, that's what I used the light blue one for. So on to the fifth one. If you've ever done archery, you know that you're typically shooting into bales of hay. Well, we do have bales of hay in the game, but unfortunately we can't really put targets on them. So I used the yellow to make a target and do the same thing, cover up the corners, and just put it in a pile of hay like that, and it works perfectly as target practice. So this one for the lime terracotta is a little bit of a stretch, so bear with me on this one. Maybe you're going into your enchanting room here, and you're wanting to get some good enchantments, but you want some luck. So if you put this thing back here, it kind of looks like a little 4-leaf clover, and maybe it's just a little luck charm thing to help you out with your enchanting. But if you're not feeling particularly lucky, it also works really well as a Christmas tree for your holiday-themed things. For the pink block, there's not really a whole lot you can do because there aren't a lot of things in the game that are pink. But if you're opening a little bakery and you want something to put your cakes on, the pink terracotta works really well as almost like a tablecloth over top of the table holding the cake. This design is something that can be used with a lot of the different blocks, but I chose to do it with the gray because I think it's one of the best for this. And that is to use it as a base and a cap for your pillars, especially with the glass panes. You can also do it with iron bars, anything that you can do in a 4 like that, and have it all connect to each other. Works really well for a pillar with these as the base. So yeah, this one I really enjoy a lot. The light gray one is very futuristic looking, and there's not really a whole lot you can do with it other than using it as a floor. But what I decided to do in here is almost use it as like an elevator, like a transport block in some mods that they have. So you come stand on this terracotta here and you press the button and oh, you're transported to a different part of your scientific lair. So this is another one that you could use several blocks for. I decided to use the cyan because it goes decently with the prismarine blocks, but it's just to give a little color pop along the edge of your hallways in a bigger corridor-like fashion for maybe a mansion or a big house or whatever. But that little color pop is really useful in these hallways. The obvious thing to do with the purple block is to put it behind your Nether Portals, which yes, it does work, but that's what everybody's going to be doing with it, and to be honest with you, it doesn't really add a whole lot to anything. It's just kind of more purple. So I decided to do a little bit more with that idea and use it as kind of a decoration to take you to your Nether Portal. So these are kind of makeshift decoration Nether Portals, and I think they look really good, and they do definitely portray that it's supposed to be a Nether Portal. You come on in here, and you can even make a big one using that to hold your actual nether portal here. This one can be done with every single terracotta block in the game. It just depends on your preference. I decided to use the blue because I really like that deep blue color. But if you put it underneath and behind your chests, it really adds a nice color pop to really whatever theme you're trying to get. And it's a nice little detailed color instead of just a flat color like if you were to use hardened clay, for example. This brown block really reminds me of some sort of old shaggy carpet that would be in a grandma's house. So, what do I think of when I think of shaggy carpets in grandma's houses? Library. So, I decided to use this as the floor for a library, and obviously the floor is a pretty common choice to use these blocks for, but in this one, I think the brown works really well for giving that library look. For our 14th color, the green one, this also makes a really good target too, kind of like the yellow one, but this one is a little bit bigger. So I decided to use this one on the ground and create a little mini game out of it. So go ahead and hop in our minecart here and grab some packed ice and get this baby a-going. And you gotta try to slide the ice, oops, I missed. Slide the ice down and get it to land on the target. And then I have it rigged up to where it'll pop up here and get returned right back to me. So I think this could be used in a lot of minigames such as this one. The red terracotta is one of the busiest blocks, but it's also one of the better ones in terms of detail, and it works really, really well for these nether wart farms because it blends with these colors, and it just adds another level of dimension and detail into your nether wart farm. So the last colored terracotta block is the black one, and this one is probably my favorite one just because it's so versatile and how you can use it. And for this, I used it in a tunnel in the nether. Now the outside is trash, don't look at the outside, but the inside, this works really well to add detail, and also it just kind of adds to the sort of dark, ominous red and black nether theme that's already naturally here. So I think this works really, really well in the nether. So the last one here is very simple, but this involves all of them, and if you put them right behind your banner, it doesn't really matter the color as long as it matches. It gives it a little detailed trim around the outside of it, and I think that looks it looks pretty good. It looks better than just putting a banner right onto a wall. So in conclusion, these blocks are not easy to use. They're hard to find uses for, but in doing this and in finding all of these ways to use them, the one thing that I have discovered is that they work very well in moderation. These are not a building block, these are not anything that you want to use over a large area, because the thing with this block is that it adds a sense of roundness into the game that we've never had before. For example, this is a circle, there's a circle there, this is kind of a circle, there's a circle. Most of these have circular points in them. And in a game that's all squares, if you do that too much, if you use too much of that, it becomes very overwhelming. But if you use it very sparingly and only put it in spots where you think it will add character and not necessarily use it just for the design aspect of it, these blocks are very good and are a very good addition to the game, I think. And I'll probably be using these quite a bit to add character and spice up a lot of my builds. Are they the best block in the world? No, absolutely not, but do they have uses? Definitely, and I will be doing more research, I guess if you want to call it that, to figure out how to use these blocks in a better way. And I think that a lot of these things that I showed today are a good start to that. So that's going to do it for this exploration of the new Terracotta block. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did enjoy, please leave a like on it for me. If you really enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe. And I guess that's all I got. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace.